Hello, I'm Sophie Wenström. I am a representative of the board of OASPA and the conference committee. I'd like to introduce the poster lightning talks. So if the presenters will come to the front, please. We have six poster lightning talks ahead of us. And the order is that you're going to speak in is Sarah, Lorela, Tony, Murielle, Allison, and Daniel. Each speaker has 5 minutes to present, and then we have a coffee break up on the mezzanine level where the posters will be displayed. Please get your coffee and engage with the speakers about what they're doing. Look at their posters. Speakers, please keep your time. It's only 5 minutes. There is a timer on the floor in front of you. The coffee break that you are all longing for is going to be sponsored by Keirs, so kindly. I think that's it. We know the drill. They're going to talk quickly. So write down your questions and ask them afterwards. Okay, thank you. Please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah McKee, and I'm the project manager for Amplifying Humanistic Scholarship at the American Council of Learned Societies, or ACLS. ACLS is a consortium of 81 scholarly societies in the humanities and interpretive social sciences. Based in New York City, ACLS was founded in 1919. Its mission is to support the development and promote the circulation of humanistic knowledge throughout society. Since 1926, ACLS has provided grants and fellowships to researchers across disciplines and in all career stages, from graduate students to senior faculty. In recent years, ACLS has launched new initiatives designed to address some of the many challenges facing the humanities community. One such area of challenge is scholarly publishing, which, as we all know, is experiencing a moment of rapid and significant change. In 2022, we launched Amplifying Humanistic Scholarship, an initiative that seeks to support accessible, equitable, and innovative publishing. Support for Path to Open is one of our first efforts within that initiative. Path to Open is a new funding model for open access monographs, launched in 2023 by JSTOR in partnership with ACLS, the University of Michigan Press, and the University of North Carolina Press. This pilot aims to make 1,000 scholarly books across humanistic disciplines and from a diverse group of university presses, free available to readers beginning in 2026. In this model, libraries pay an annual participation fee to access a growing collection of new titles that are submitted by university presses and then are available exclusively on JSTOR for 3 years from their publication date. The books are also available in print and e-consumer versions, but not in any other library aggregation, to minimize acquisition workflow challenges and publication costs for the model. The annual participation fees from libraries are redistributed to the participating presses as a $5,000 stipend per title. JSTOR has provided the initial funding to pay publishers and to release these titles as open access, even if the library subscriptions do not end up covering the stipend costs. Authors do not pay to participate. After 3 years in the collection, the books are converted to open access. After that, they can be published on any platform that the publisher or author selects, in addition to JSTOR. Every title in this program is guaranteed to become open access, and by the end of the pilot period, we do expect to open 1,000 new titles to the world. But we'll be asking some questions during the pilot period. What is the right length of an embargo for monographs? Can we eliminate it altogether? Is $5,000 plus print sales enough revenue to support the presses? Will enough libraries commit to the program for it to become self-sustaining? To date, 42 small and medium university presses from across the globe are participating, and our goal is to reach 50 publishers by 2025. The program also includes more than 160 libraries, representing 7 countries and including 9 consortia that have joined in at various levels, from community colleges to large research institutions. A grant provided by the Mellon Foundation enables us to provide free subscriptions for Path to Open to historically Black colleges and universities and to tribal colleges and universities in the United States. But beyond its funding model, Path to Open is a community-based effort that centers bibliodiversity, collaboration, equity, sustainability, and transparency. The community around Path to Open is an essential feature of the pilot, and one that we believe distinguishes it from many other open access book models. In 2023, ACLS, with guidance from the Educopia Institute, convened the Path to Open Community Advisory Committee, which brings publishers, libraries, and scholars into regular and open dialogue about all aspects of Path to Open during its pilot period. The committee works closely with JSTOR to develop processes, assess outcomes, and establish priorities for Path to Open that account for the needs of all constituents. Together, we gather data to guide decisions and set goals that work toward establishing a viable program for open books that we hope lasts well beyond the pilot. The committee's official charge is to support the longevity, effectiveness, and sustainability of the Path to Open pilot. The committee comprises representative publishers, librarians, and scholars who provide feedback, recommendations, and insight, as well as outreach and community building support for the pilot. The committee's top priorities for 2024 and 2025 include working with publishers to refine the process for submitting titles to JSTOR, convening libraries and scholars to assess the content of the Path to Open collection, which currently includes 400 titles, raising awareness of the Path to Open collection among scholars, students, and administrators of colleges and universities, expanding and diversifying the committee itself and its working groups, and finally collecting, analyzing, and sharing data about the model. Please see the poster for QR codes to learn more about Path to Open and its committee on both the JSTOR and the ACLS websites. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lorela Mehmeti, and I'm a publishing designer and a PhD candidate at the Advanced Design Unit of the University of Bologna, and currently collaborating with the US-based no-profit organization Knowledge Futures on innovative publishing practices. Now, when I say designer, I don't mean the traditional graphic or product designer. Today, design has expanded beyond creating objects or visuals. In our current context, a designer engages deeply with research and knowledge, contributing to shaping systems and workflows that foster innovation and interdisciplinarity. This is precisely what I've been focusing on at Knowledge Futures, rethinking and redesigning editorial workflows with a special emphasis on peer review. Peer review, as we know, is the cornerstone of academic publishing, but there's no easy path when it comes to making it more collaborative and transparent. We are at a pivotal moment where the traditional model is being reimagined. Today, I'm excited to share some of the ideas and innovations behind this poster. The mission of the open access movement involves more than mere accessibility and final publication outcomes. It's about creating a comprehensive open access methodology that guides every stage of the process, from submission to the sharing of research outcomes. Failure to do so could result in a contradictory and incomplete implementation of open access principles. We've seen how peer review has become a black box over time. Reviewers remain anonymous, their feedback is often hidden, and the process itself is linked to the commercial pressures of academia. While it certainly serves to ensure quality, peer review has yet to fully evolve in line with the needs of changing scholarly landscape. As a result, reviewers often don't get the recognition they deserve, and valuable feedback gets locked away and underutilized. At Knowledge Futures, we've been prototyping an experimental peer review model called the Collaborative Revision Model, or CORE model, the acronym. This approach reimagines peer review as an open dialogue between invited reviewers, allowing authors to engage deeply with detailed feedback rather than focusing on traditional major or minor revision labels. What makes this model unique is that the conversation between reviewers is published alongside with the article. The goal here is to foster scholarly discourse, strengthen relationships between authors and reviewers, and ultimately enhance the quality of published articles over time. This collaborative process shifts more responsibility onto the editor, who makes the initial decision on the submission, while reviewers focus on constructive discussion rather than deciding acceptance or rejection. It encourages more open scientific discussions and reduces the overwhelming volume of published research by prioritizing quality. The focus of this peer review model is collaboration. By making peer review more transparent and interactive, we hope to elevate the role of reviewers, ensuring they get the recognition they deserve, and their insights continue to shape the academic conversation long after publication. Peer review shouldn't just be a gatekeeping mechanism, it should be an ongoing, dynamic conversation that enriches both individual research and the academic community as a whole. These are exciting times, and there's a real appetite for exploring how we can make peer review a more open, collaborative, and impactful process. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to hear your thoughts and feedback about the model and how we can continue improving peer review together. Thank you.
So this is a nice fit with the previous poster. So hello, my name is Tony Alves. I'm with HighWire Press, the platform division of MPS. Today I'm going to discuss the diversification and decentralization of peer review, focusing on how new models and services are transforming the traditional peer review process to make it more inclusive and transparent. At the heart of science is peer review, a process that traditionally involved privileged colleagues exchanging letters about their research. In 1665, the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society formalized this process with the goal to establish provenance, improve ideas, and disseminate knowledge. But over time, the peer review process has become centralized, often focusing on gatekeeping for journals rather than fostering open conversations about science itself. Today, technology is transforming how these conversations happen. We now have community peer review where independent services decouple peer review from journal publication, focusing on the quality of science. Platforms like Pre-Review and Review Commons and PCI offer spaces for open, transparent feedback, allowing reviews to be shared publicly and enhancing dialogue around research, leading to decentralized peer review. One great example of this transformation is Pre-Review's collaboration with current research in neurobiology. Manuscripts are submitted to both the journal and a preprint server at the same time. Pre-review organizes two reviewers to lead a collaborative discussion which is shared with the authors. This process enhances traditional peer review by introducing an open, transparent review alongside more formal evaluations. Reviewers even have the option to sign their reviews using their ORCID ID, ensuring accountability and transparency. This brings me to the role of persistent identifiers, which are crucial for maintaining trust and integrity across a decentralized system. ORCID, ROR, and DOIs provided by Crossref and DataCite help create a transparent and traceable system for research evaluation. PIDs ensure that reviews, preprints, and published articles are always connected to their authors in institutions, promoting trust and integrity. Next, we have bioRxiv, a preprint server that enhances reader engagement through the transparent review and preprints program. They aggregate feedback from various sources, including journal-organized peer reviews, social media discussions, and community reviews. bioRxiv's dashboard displays icons above each preprint representing the various sources of feedback. Readers can access comments, reviews, and discussions, making the peer review process more transparent and ensuring reviews stay connected with their preprint throughout its life cycle. Another example is Society, an eLife platform that aggregates peer reviews from different sources like Review Commons and Pre-Review. By collecting and displaying diverse assessments of preprints, Society enhances transparency and promotes a more inclusive review process. Similarly, EMBO's early evidence base aggregates peer-reviewed preprints, making them discoverable through the use of DOIs, which ensures that these reviews are citable and linked back to the original research, providing a clear, traceable record of the scientific conversation. Diversity in peer review is a growing priority, and initiatives like Pre-Review and Pre-Lights are leading the way. These platforms engage early career researchers and underrepresented groups in peer reviewing, which helps diversify the review process. These programs are creating more equitable opportunities for new voices in science. These decentralized models rely on a seamless transfer of data between systems. The Mapping the Metadata Transfer Ecosystem project, co-organized by Europe PMC and ASAP Bio, is working on standardizing the sharing of peer review information across platforms. Protocols like Mecca, DocMaps, and Core Notify help ensure that metadata, including peer review reports, travel with the manuscript as it moves through different parts of the research ecosystem. This mapping ensures interoperability between services, making sure that peer reviews, comments, and feedback remain attached to the research, providing a clear, traceable path that contributes to research integrity. So in conclusion, the diversification and decentralization of peer review is reshaping how we evaluate scientific research by making the process more open, inclusive, and transparent. With the help of persistent identifiers and communication protocols, we're seeing a future where peer review is not just an isolated gatekeeping process, but an ongoing conversation to a broader range of participants. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. So my name is Murielle Serlet, and I will talk about the Centre Mersenne. Firstly, some background information. The Centre Mersenne is a diamond open access publishing infrastructure for scientific publications in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We provide all the publishing tools and services that enable editorial teams to manage, produce, and disseminate their publications. The Centre Mersenne is developed by MATDoc, a support and research unit of the French National Center for Scientific Research and Grenoble-Alpes University. The Centre Mersenne, launched in 2018, took over from CEDRAM, a platform for the distribution of mathematical journals, also developed by MATDoc, and created in 2005. The Centre Mersenne was created in response to the demand from the scientific community, which was looking for an open access publication solution that was affordable, allowed them to retain their copyright, and was managed by the community. So, firstly, the Centre Mersenne is committed to promote open access. It is supported by the French Plan for Open Science. It provides immediate access to the publications without fees, neither for the authors nor for the readers. 24 journals are available on our platform, that's to say more than 28,000 publications. Managed by researchers for researchers, the platform provides tools for scientists, readers, and journals alike. Translation of publications, interactive comments on articles, and enriched information, and so on. Secondly, the Centre Mersenne supports the editorial teams in the management of their publications by providing them with tools and professional services at affordable rates. We also create a LaTeX model with adaptation according to editorial norms. LaTeX is a pivotal format at Centre Mersenne. Moreover, we assign a DOI to each article published on our platform via Crossref, and we use Clock's solution for the long-term archiving. For the indexation of the publication, we help you to index your journal on some databases. The Centre Mersenne also provides support for editorial process. First, we can install and configure OJS, Open Journal System. The platform takes charge of adaptations to the software for editorial process of the journal, hosting, maintenance, and support for editorial process. Concerning the new developments, so we are constantly working on new features to enhance the value of the journals and their accessibility. For example, semi-automatic translation tool, online comments, virtual issues, and so on. In addition, the Centre Mersenne has experience with welcoming journal converting from traditional subscription The Centre Mersenne has experience with welcoming journal converting from traditional subscription-based model to diamond open access and moved to a different web publisher. This implies installation of the journal, adaptation of our system, and solutions to the editorial process of the journal, implementation of an online publishing process with the editorial rhythm, integration of the last ongoing submission from one system to the other, support in updating databases and recovery, processing, and online publications of archives. The 6 comptes rendus of the Académie des Sciences are web published by the Centre Mersenne since 2020, after moving from Elsevier in 2019. We worked with the editorial team of the compte rendu, as well as with Elsevier, to complete efficiently the transition. I hope you will want to find out more about our work, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Allison, Levy, Director of Brown University Digital Publications, or BUDP, which originated from conversations with the Mellon Foundation in 2014 about the challenges of advancing the practice and recognition of long-form born digital scholarly works. While a large part of Mellon's investment in this area went to building out the digital infrastructure available to university presses, the foundation also sought to support the community of scholars seeking to legitimate the expanded possibilities that digital publication offered for developing and presenting their research. To this end, a smaller number of grants was awarded to institutions experimenting with university-based models of support for faculty, ranging from developmental editing and design support to assistance in placing the work with suitable publishers. Brown's program is a collaboration between the Dean of the Faculty and the University Library and focuses on the development of multimodal monographs, which advance scholarly arguments in ways not achievable in a conventional print format, whether through multimedia enhancements or interactive engagement with research materials. Combined with open access publishing models, these new scholarly forms are increasing the visibility and reach of scholarship to global audiences, both within and beyond the academy, in unprecedented ways. To date, 3 born digital, exclusively digital, open access works by Brown faculty have been published by leading university presses and have received major recognition. Furnace and Fugue, a digital edition of Michael Meyer's Atalantafugians, published by the University of Virginia Press in 2020, was awarded the 2022 Roy Rosenzweig Prize in Creativity and Digital History by the American Historical Association. Shadow Plays, Virtual Realities in an Analog World, published by Stanford in 2022, received the Prose Award for Best E-Product by the Association of American Publishers and was a finalist for the ACLS Open Access Book Prize. A New Vision for Islamic Pasts and Futures, published by the MIT Press in 2022, was shortlisted for the Royal Institute of Philosophy's Naif Al-Rodan International Prize in Transdisciplinary Philosophy. 14 other works approved by our faculty board are currently in development and represent a broad disciplinary range. I should add that at Brown, peer-reviewed multimodal monographs are accorded the same weight as print monographs in the review process for tenure and promotion. As a producer rather than a publisher, BUDP engages in many different areas of collaboration. While Brown manages editorial design and digital production, we look to our press partners to manage peer review, copy editing, and marketing. In the majority of cases, Brown hosts the work and is responsible for maintenance and preservation. That's the general division of labor, although almost every aspect of this workflow is collaborative. 2 years ago, BUDP joined the Association of University Presses, a testament to Brown's unique contributions to the scholarly publishing ecosystem, from its novel, scholar-led approach to digital content development to its highly productive partnerships with member presses. As experimentation with new scholarly forms continues to take place across a number of libraries, museums, humanities centers, and university presses, monograph publishing in the digital age must be intentional and ambitious, looking beyond audience reach to audience engagement. Monograph publishing must also center the lived experience and knowledge of diverse authors. Recognizing that the majority of this innovative work is being generated at well-resourced, predominantly white institutions, Brown strives to make the digital publication process more accessible and inclusive through purposeful training and mentoring programs, such as an NEH Institute on Advanced Topics in the Digital Humanities for underrepresented scholars, and an IMLS-funded program for librarians as digital content developers at historically Black colleges and universities. Through such partnerships, Brown is helping to set the standards for the future of scholarship in the digital age. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just 5 minutes till coffee now, so that's the start with some good news. So I'm Daniel Keirs from IOP Publishing. And I'm pleased to introduce our poster on some of the barriers that researchers say they face in sharing their data publicly. This is based on some analysis we've undertaken over the last year on the data availability statements that authors provide to us when they publish an article with us. We require one of these statements with every article, and over the past year, we've also required authors to give a reason when their research is not going to be openly shared. So we start from the principle that the data underpinning research, published research, should be as accessible and reusable as possible. That builds sort of collaboration, fosters trust in research, but it doesn't seem to be happening in the majority of cases, certainly not fair sharing. And we're wondering whether existing approaches just aren't making the right headway. Now, why might that be the case? Our analysis suggests there's no single answer to that. The barriers to fair sharing seem to differ by discipline or by geography. Even in the relatively small range of domains that we look at in the physical sciences, there still seems to be quite wide variance in the barriers to sharing that authors cite. So, for instance, physicists, our core community of researchers, say that their most common barrier is that the formats that they produce their data in wouldn't be accessible if shared. That's what they believe. Materials researchers say that it's the lack of access to suitable repositories or the lack of awareness of suitable repositories, which is their most common barrier. Engineers say that their most common barrier is that the data is confidential. And environmental researchers, whilst having quite a lot higher baseline level of sharing than the others, still quite commonly face a barrier that the data that they have is owned by a third party and can't be shared for that reason. Our analysis also showed the variances by geography. And just to summarize, for instance, China, or researchers from China and India, quoted their most common barrier being the lack of access to a suitable repository, whereas researchers in the UK or the USA cited common barriers being either the format wouldn't be accessible or the data was confidential. So these kind of differences, I think, underscore the importance of at least considering taking different approaches to trying to promote and facilitate data sharing, depending on disciplinary communities, and geographical communities. one-size-fits-all approaches to strategy or policy perhaps might be less likely to work in this context. And we could look to tailor approaches more to individual communities' needs and pursue collaborative efforts. And I think by this we mean considering working more closely with research communities in the different disciplines from start to finish to try and develop strategies that will overcome some of the complex barriers that they face. And maybe consider what pragmatic interim measures might help move a community forward with their buy-in so that they can adopt those at scale and we can still make progress. So thanks for listening. That's just a snapshot, and I look forward to discussing it more with you over the course of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you all our brilliant poster lightning talk speakers. I'm intrigued by all your presentations, so I'll probably pay you a visit. So please, dear friends, we have now a coffee break, yay! But return here for 11:15. Our next panel is on open access and precarity in the academic landscape. We cannot wait for that, can we?